All right. And we're live with the creators of the Trump Corruption Tracker, doing financial crimes only, financial corruption only. It does relate to some other things, but think there's so much that you just kind of have to focus in on one thing. So I'm going to go ahead and share that on the screen so we can see it. Here's the first entry as I sorted. So, Gabe, Hans, what made you? I mean, amongst all the things that have happened, in the last year or Trump 2.0, what made you guys decide to do this?
Well, it actually came from a conversation I had with a friend of mine, and it was about politicians being corrupt and how they're all corrupt, and that Trump is just better at it than everybody else. And that really got me thinking. And then I went to my good friend Hans here, who is an amazing researcher, and we came up with this idea. We're like, you know what? It's not the same. Politicians don't do what he does, and people need to see this. I personally wanted a tool where I was out with these people and I could like show them, like, look, selling pardons, like have like front and center, and with all the sources too.
Yeah, there's
that's
so
really where
much.
it came from.
They flood the zone so much you just kind of lose track. Even just doing this, because Gabe does the tech and I do most of the research and loading stuff up, which with Trump and corruption, it's pretty easy to find stuff. But my head starts spinning. It's like, wait, he pardoned. Okay, Ross Ulbricht was which pardon that he sold, and then whose mother paid $1 million to get a pardon. So now you just search it. You click the tag pardons, and they'll all come up. You click the crypto tag. Oh, it was the UAE that bought $2 billion worth of his crypto coin, and he's got like 3 of his own crypto coins. Which one was it? There's the Trump coin. There's the USD one. So you hit one. You're out at the bar. You got your conservative friend who hasn't had a date in 17 years, and he's taking it out on America by voting for Trump. I've got several of those friends. They're friends. They won't be if they're watching, but whatever. I need better friends. But you hit it, and you're like, okay,
hey.
This article. Here's this. I wasn't talking about you.
You said you needed better friends. I
was talking about the MAGA friends. I'm not going to say.
Okay. I know you had a lot of MAGA friends. That's a new one. Anyways, keep going. Sorry.
I got two or three. So you hit it. You're like, crypto. Look, he sells his own crypto coin, and look who buys it. People who then get a pardon, or foreign governments who then get F-35s that they're not supposed to have because they're.
I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine being the person that described what crypto is to Trump? I mean, they must have used like pop-up books and like fucking animations,
I'm still shocked that nobody has had the wherewithal to explain to him that asylum in the context of illegal immigration is not a mental institution.
Yeah. They're coming from the asylums.
They're coming from the asylums. That they're coming for asylum.
They're probably like, you know what, Trump, like, Mr. Trump, people can pay you money for whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you can't get caught. He's like, what?
That
Sign
is
me up.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's deregulating the crypto market. If you hit inauguration, you can see how much money the crypto business and all the other businesses, oil and poultry and whatever, donated to his inauguration. You read through some of those. Oh, and then he starts doing what? Deregulating crypto, right? And he's, of course, making his own crypto along with Steve Witkoff, who is his special envoy, this really incompetent diplomat that he's sending around because he's not really a diplomat. But what happens now is you can buy the Trump meme coin. There's a Melania meme coin. I don't know how many people are buying that Melania coin, but it's out there. So you buy these, you can get access to the White House. You can get a pardon. You can get favorable legislation. And again, you click on this, you pull those links up. What we try to do is give a good summary in the description. So you're at the bar, you can just read that off. You don't even have to open the link. Some of them, we kind of go back and forth. Some of them require a subscription. I try to find links that don't. If it does, I'll.
Yeah, I was actually like, we'll go to these people's the authors' Substacks and like grab their articles from there.
Yeah, we got
You
a
don't have to
couple
go through the paywall.
Substacks. Some of them
Yeah.
are tough because sometimes they want you to make an account, and I don't want people to keep hitting a link and being told make another account, make another account.
Yeah.
But we also want to get all the information and make it thorough. So some of them, if you need a subscription to whether it's a Substack or the Washington Post or the New York Times, I'll try to give a better rundown with some of the more salient details so you can whip out the facts and figures right there. So you can just get the Reader's Digest ADHD. Here's my description. If there's a subheading and a title, we put them. If not, I put in my own subheading, which is always fun. Some of those you can usually tell the ones that I wrote and that were not from a newspaper.
Well, and to that point, it's like as progressives, I think again, like I was saying earlier when we were talking, we tend to get jokey with this stuff quick. I mean, I don't know if it's like, I don't know where it comes from. The fact that we're just better critical thinkers, or I'm not sure what exactly, but
we're just snarky a-holes a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, and it just, we're all tired of how progressives just laugh at the world as it goes by and create really good late night TV and jokes about it. So we were really trying to get away from the snarky comments, and because I mean, this is like serious stuff we're looking at right now. What's happening is bad.
Yeah, and I mean, it is honestly just absolutely crazy.
Well,
because in the history of this country, any president doing stuff of this nature would have been gone damn near immediately.
Yeah. And
I mean, you got to hand it to him in a way, man. He's like, I mean, he pulled off like something nobody else ever even thought to do. All these things are just like pushing the boundaries, to your point.
Yeah. And in a way, he's a symptom of a bigger problem. Now that we have, or bigger problems that are coming together between social media dominating everyone's thinking and taking away critical thinking, and billionaires becoming so powerful that you can essentially buy your way into being elected or buy others to do it. Basically, the billionaires and the big interests were buying their candidates. He said, why pay for the middleman when I can just get the office for myself and do what I want? And I think you're going to see more of that. I mean, Vance is owned by Peter Thiel. He's Thiel's bitch. Peter Thiel's, his dad was a Nazi, pumped millions of dollars into Peter till he finally got a successful business. It's not like he was that smart, just like Elon Musk's dad with his emerald mines in, I guess it's now Namibia. It's not like Musk gets $500 million in loans from the government to start Tesla.
I mean, the thing about Trump though is that he had half a foot in jail.
Yeah,
and like I don't think he was a billionaire when he came to office. I mean, he was hurting.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, he lost a ton of money from everything that happened the first time.
You got to read the tracker. He is getting billions from the crypto now. And what's interesting
what do you make, like $3 billion in the first 3 months or something absurd?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I think going back to what you said earlier, I think they already did the rug pull on the Melania meme coin.
Well, did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the World Liberty Financial, what they run everything through, I mean, first of all, they have a very slick website, by the way, which I was very impressed with. But holy crud, like it's unbelievable what they're trying to get away with.
Well, that's one thing I realized.
I mean, they are getting away with it. Sorry. Yeah.
Is as you go through, I would get, say like 3 months in an article about here's how much he's put away. And then at the 6 months mark. So there's a lot of these crypto articles where just a few weeks later, in some cases, I tag earlier articles in the description because he's at 600 million, then he's at 800 million. And then a few weeks later, he's over $1 billion, according to, the sources that are investigating this stuff. So you can really see how quickly it's building up and building up. And the first term stuff, I mean, we've got stuff up there from the first term. I'm still backfilling that, but it was a little more amateurish. It was a little more haphazard. It's not that he wasn't corrupt, but he hadn't figured out how to monetize the office in the same way. His Secret Service was staying in his golf courses and, staying in the expensive rooms at Mar-a-Lago with him every weekend. He made Vance stay on the opposite side of Ireland from the capital out at the Trump resort he's got there, and the taxpayers paid for that. But in the 4 years that they were making all these plans, we all talk about Project 2025. He was also planning, how do I get rich off this? I mean, the crypto is the biggest thing, but he's making more money off his properties than he was. They're hosting dinners now where it's $1 million a head. and you get in and you can get Trump's ear and you can talk to him about a pardon. That's where a lot of these pardons happen. They have an exclusive club being run by Don Jr. That's a $500,000 membership fee that is invitation only, and that's another way that you can get in and get your legislation.
I mean, he did a taste of that in his first term, where he had Saudi Arabia come in and they bought every single room in his hotel in New York City. I mean,
right.
He was getting a little bit, but now the crypto coin is a whole nother story. And
right.
now
And they're still doing the hotel stuff and property developments all over. And of course, the Arab world, they really get this. And that's why he made that trip to the UAE and Qatar and Saudi Arabia. They all have their own tags because they're all giving him so much. But just to put it in perspective, that whole Hunter Biden thing, it was over an alleged $40 million deal that they could never prove.
Well, they were giving him a hard time because he sold his paintings for $20 grand. They're like, he's not a good enough artist. Obviously, this is corruption.
Yeah, have you seen some of the art out there? But then, you know, a $400 million plane from Qatar, $2 billion, literally $1 billion crypto investment from UAE, 75% of which ends
mainstream media isn't covering any of this anymore. They had like the airplane on for about a week and a half, and then they dropped it, and that was the end of that.
And I think that comes back to why we started the tracker. A lot, like people on the left, they just want to focus on the culture war stuff. And honestly, what they've missed in all these years is one thing the Republicans have done much better than the Democrats is stuff like gerrymandering, voter disenfranchisement. And, you know, there are people on the right who say, oh, no, the Democrats do that. Well, they don't do it nearly as well as the Republicans. And as far as a stolen election, okay, Biden was in power, and yet they let themselves lose to Trump by Trump didn't get more votes in this election. The Democrats got 4 million less. And if you look at some of the disenfranchisement that's gone on, that is, you know, about how many people they were saying they're losing their rights to vote. They're being pushed out by these ID laws, which sound harmless enough until you look at the fine print. So if the Democrats want to win, or even mainstream Republicans, because I wouldn't mind if Charlie Baker wanted to leave the NCAA and run for president. He was fine. He was a Republican. I never had a problem with
it. But so was Mitt Romney.
Mitt
Romney was fine too.
Vulture capitalist. No, Bain capitalist.
I mean, when he was our governor, if that's what you're referring to, I'm just saying, like, yeah, he was fine when he was Massachusetts governor.
Yeah,
I mean, he was horrible afterwards. I mean,
well, yeah, well, no, but Mitt Romney is a generally horrible person. He's a competent businessman, though, so he was able to run the state. But I mean, if you want to appeal to those, you know, centrist voters,
actually, I'd like to jump on that quick, like what you just said, Hans. Competent businessman. You know how many times? I mean, actually, I'd ask you this, Jay, because you know you say you're a closet, well, not so closeted Republican.
Not so closeted. I mean, I don't.
I mean, you're out there. You're out and proud.
I don't fit into a political box, so to speak.
I am very impressed with your political leanings, to be honest. But what I was trying to get to is like the idea of like we need a businessman in office. Yeah, now we have one. And guess what? Yeah, he's all about the profits.
Well, yeah, there's this cult of business that if you're good at business, somehow you understand all this other stuff that actually is completely different from business, which is stupid. We wouldn't say, hey, you know what? Mozart's a musical genius. Let's put him in charge of a nuclear plant. Like, you don't do that. People think if you're a good businessman, suddenly you're smart enough to run things like a country or a hospital. You're not. Absolutely not. And
you look at it like Trump's like, well, what can I sell to make money? He's like, oh, I can sell pardons.
Exactly. That's actually,
a very good you know what, Hans? That's actually a very good point. I've actually spoken about this before. It's the idea that because someone is really good at something, all right, their opinion must matter on other things. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson is really good at astrophysics, but people keep asking him about all the other shit. He's not good at everything.
No, nobody is.
Right. Well, the idea is these people would surround themselves with people who are, and then typically, traditionally, how it works until now. Right. Now it's all about loyalty. Bill Gates,
when he stuck his nose into education, he basically pushed the government into screwing up public education even more than it already was. I mean, because he has no idea what he's talking about. He's an Asperger's guy, so he doesn't learn the way most people do. So he was pushing all of these policies that were just completely ineffective, but he used Bill Gates, so he must know what he's doing. Again, Elon, right, exactly. and all of these guys come from millionaires. All these billionaires come from millionaire families to begin with.
Yeah.
None of them are really self-made. Elon Musk's dad owned diamond mines in South Africa.
Emerald mines.
Rebellion. Oh, and when the slave population rebels, that's when Elon dodges the draft, even though his family is the one who owned the mines there. So he's a cowardly piece of crap.
I mean, if I had
Mark Zuckerberg, I'll fight both of them, and I'm like, I only get to the gym once or twice a week these days.
Zuckerberg could actually fight now, though.
He does jiu-jitsu, but do you think he could take a punch? Do you think when he gets rocked, do you think he's actually going to stand in?
I know you might who's going to punch him when they're getting paid, whatever amount of money.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't think his.
I would guess none of them have.
You go to a basement boxing gym. As soon as you drop your hands, the guy smacks you in the face for dropping your hands. I don't think they do that with Zuckerberg.
Apparently, Tom Hardy actually actually had a real UFC fight.
Who did?
Crazy. Tom Hardy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That is actually crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think
real. Like he stepped in the ring.
I don't think.
Oh, you got to respect that.
Fight. That's crazy.
But anyway, I mean, one thing we were looking at is all of the entire left is insane right now in a lot of ways. What happened? I was actually involved. I was further left, and I know what you say. You get older, you get more conservative, but I don't think I changed. I think the left changed. I was involved in Occupy, and
is that what happened to you, Jay?
Justice.
You got older.
Actually, no.
Of the Wall Street crimes. And people are getting thrown out of their houses, and yet these guys who tank the economy are getting the bailout money and using it on cocaine and whores, and then foreclosing on more people. Mm-hmm. Well, that was to the Republican Party. Occupy was never a threat. These were the same people that were always on the other side anyway. But when you had Occupy and you had the pre-sellout Bernie, kind of leading this movement, that was a threat to the Democrats because at the end of the day, their money comes from Wall Street too. So they had to redirect the left's energy, and they redirected it into DEI, into trans. Okay, you actually accept trans rights and everything. Okay, well, it's now you got to take it further. They got to be playing like boys and girls sports, and so they completely unfocused that economic justice aspect that had a widespread appeal. I remember Occupy having like Marines there and iron workers, and they turned it into this really just radical culture war stuff, and they lost because their culture war positions got so extreme. They lost the narrative.
In fact, speaking as a Republican, the Democrats absolutely fucking bungled the culture war stuff. It could have been spiked so easily. There are easy answers to these things. People aren't going to like them, but cancel culture was absolutely an epic mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many discussions with friends of mine that they just make Democrats the party of these tiny little subgroups, and it's when you ask them like, okay, why are the Democrats the party of the trans culture, for instance, and what policy do they pass? Like, what do they do? And there's no answer because they didn't do anything.
Right.
And they just somehow, I guess, slapped it on them.
I was talking to someone, and they mentioned that the killing of the lady in Minneapolis, that they should charge the ICE officer with a hate crime. And
interesting.
Several times, and I finally said, no, I don't agree with that. And it was like, why? I mean, what? I said, if someone assaults me, all right, because of whatever reason, and then someone assaults a homosexual, all right, a gay person, what makes their assault any worse than the assault that I suffered? Why should the person that assaulted? It's still assault. I mean, both of us got beat up.
Yeah, murdering someone implies that you hated them, but just charge them with murder.
I mean, how does that law work? Actually, that's interesting.
Does
it automatically apply?
It is a hate crime. It is a hate crime adjustment on sentencing. So if they add a hate crime adjustment to it, then the sentencing is higher. So the actual jail sentence or penalty is increased versus just a standard. But an assault is assault. Does it really? I mean, what makes someone else's worse than the assault that I suffered?
Yeah. I mean, I think we can kind of sum up what's happened on the left with, I forget what that award show was the other night, but Wanda Sykes goes up, and who does she attack? Not ICE, not Trump. She rips into Bill Maher because he's not on side. and she goes after Bill Maher. And oh, when it comes to Israel, Bill Maher's right, and all those people who really care about gay rights and women's rights, except in the Middle East, where women and gays have no rights, except in Israel, but they want to hate Israel anyway. And hey, I'm a historian. I'm not going to go into it unless you want to, but actually the Jews are indigenous and the Palestinians moved in there as colonialists and tried to commit genocide, which they've done to every other minority across the Middle East. The Muslims, like okay, we love to talk about Western colonialism and all our evils, but we've also done a lot of the really great things in the world. Actually, like Muslim colonialism and imperialism killed way more people. They've still got millions of black people in slavery today. Their women are still basically slaves. And yet the only thing that gets people out on the streets on the left is, I hate Israel. What about Sudan? What about Rwanda? What about the Congo? Oh, what about all the bad stuff happening right here in America? No, I'm just going to put on a little stupid keffiyeh and pretend that I'm a Hamasi for a day. Like the Queers for Palestine. Yeah, okay, go to Palestine.
Yeah, the Queers for Palestine are amazing.
You're
absolutely amazing.
Your neck out for someone who wants to.
I mean, it's just food for thought, fodder for the right. For instance, like that's ridiculous.
It's insanity. Why is there no left-wing movement about things like the massive financial corruption? Why not about the crypto scandal, the billions of dollars that he's taking here? Why not about selling pardons to drug dealers? Venezuela. One thing that was interesting, one article I put up there recently, this Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president.
Oh, I think I saw that.
She donated $500,000 to Trump's first term. If you look under Venezuela, she did it on behalf of Citgo. To try to get their business back. But all of a sudden, Trump's like, you know what? I think we might leave her in power. That was the best $500,000 that woman ever spent. And it wasn't even her own money. It was the government's money. So, you know, when we go in there, it's obviously not about the drugs because he's pardoned the biggest drug dealers in the world, Silk Road, crypto money laundering for drug dealers, the ex-president of Honduras. Even the Hondurans, they said, okay, you pardoned him. We want to charge him here. He's hanging out up here, got a full pardon. We don't know why on that one. There were no reported payments, but there must be somewhere. Somebody in his family must have bought some Trump coin. Probably not Melania coin. Nobody buys that.
Well, there was, on the Silk Road guy, I do recall, you might have to look, there was a tracked payment of some type.
Yeah, the Silk Road guy there was. Yeah, it's in there. Silk Road, there was what's his name there? Ortega, the Honduran president. They said, oh, his daughters told Trump he was treated unfairly, but there has to be some payment there. There's no way there isn't. A family like that can facilitate an undercover payment. It'll come out eventually.
Yeah, it was probably to Don Jr. or somebody.
Yeah,
somebody like that. It wasn't directly to a Trump company, perhaps.
Yeah, or it could have been a crypto purchase that was not in his own name. I mean, there's a lot of ways. Cryptos, The whole point is that you can hide the money.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, I mean, one, I actually love this idea. Have you turned it into an app yet that someone can put on their phone, or?
That's what we were talking about it. So we can upgrade the tech. Oh,
I mean, you can. It's definitely mobile friendly for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's actually really cleanly done.
Thank you. Yeah, but the idea is an app, native app. I mean, yeah, it could happen. I mean, it's not out of the. I mean, right now we're trying to think of what do we add to this. So we want to add some voting, kind of features and functionality, so we can like vote for a corruption. We have
that's actually one of the things I was going to bring up to you guys next. Like, in your opinion, which is, I think, Hans, I know yours, but which is the worst one?
Well, my favorite one is probably corruption number 16.
Corruption number 16? Which one's that?
Yeah, you can actually search. Just put 16 in the search. And the reason why is because I love the word oligarchy.
Yeah.
And so the artwork I modeled off of a certain action scene that you both might recognize.
Trump and Putin would both love that artwork though, because they both wish they had those biceps.
I actually took the detail out of Trump's intentionally.
Yeah.
I'm there are a couple things I think it could be. All right, so I'm just going to throw these out there, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Oh, you don't know what it is off the bat? Wow, okay.
Not off the bat.
I got to work on my art a little more.
Over the top?
Oh, over the top. That's a good one, though. I didn't think. No, it's not over the top. That could look like that, definitely.
And the other one would be Contra.
Contra.
Well, the game?
Video game.
Oh,
okay. Well, that was based off of something, though.
Oh, we're old. I remember that game, actually.
You don't know what it is, Hans? Surprised you don't know what it is.
Is that it's not a Conan reference, is it?
No. But close.
I think it's an Arnold Predator?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
The famous Predator scene.
Okay, Minnesota. Yep. Jesse the Body might run for mayor again. He wants ICE out. He's kind of been around on some of the talking head shows lately. He doesn't look great, but he's an amazing dude, that's for sure. He doesn't look great. He's an old guy who did steroids most of his life, but he's still whatever. I mean,
it is amazing that he's still alive. Still with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's still alive. He sounds good. He was an ex-Navy SEAL. He's probably still in good shape under that beard that he really needs to clean up because it looks homeless.
He looks a little like he could be off in Colorado somewhere mailing people bombs. So he definitely has that look.
Well, he delivered bombs by hand. You got to give him credit for that. He was a pretty badass dude.
I mean, to have a wrestler in office, though, how cool is that?
That would be pretty awesome. And it would also make Idiocracy actually come true. You remember that movie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, are we not in it now?
It's a documentary at this point.
It's actually.
How is that not Trump, though?
There's going to be a UFC cage fight.
Yeah, in the White House
on the lawn of the White House.
Really? I didn't hear that one.
Yes.
It does sound really cool. So there is that.
And the G7 is moving their meeting time around to accommodate the UFC cage fight on the front lawn of the White House.
Every Beavis and Butthead MAGA guy is going to be just giggling with glee on the as that plays over the.
So is Dana White finally going to start paying his fighters real money then? Because I love MMA, but unless you're one of the big stars, you get $10,000 to show up and $10,000 to win. It's ridiculous.
Good luck with those medical bills.
Really pay. That's why
I'm not a fan of UFC.
Boxing still pays.
MMA.
I'm a big fan of the MMA. I just think they should be paid more fairly, but whatever.
I mean, MMA is better than boxing. I mean, it's safer.
Oh yeah, I like MMA better than
boxing,
but
it was really interesting.
But actually, you can make more money in boxing if you're good.
Yeah.
Look at Jake Paul. That guy can't even box. I respect him as a promoter. He's a terrible fighter. But all right, let's get back to it. What were we talking about here? Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing that it brings
steer us back, Hans. Take us home.
What do we include on the tracker and what we don't? We try to. Why is it at 200? It should be 203 or 4 today. I added some, but all right.
We talked to tech support.
More, I think. But that's all right. So the relationship with Russia, which is definitely there. I mean, if you read Craig Unger's book on it, American Compromat, the evidence is pretty damning. And be the first podcast to break this because, Unger's book came out in between Trump terms, so it went under the radar. The Russians do have Epstein's videotapes on CD. There was a guy, I don't remember his name. I got the book downstairs. He was a whistleblower in the Palm Beach sheriff's office, and he got access to recordings of those videotapes that Epstein had. He's one of the 4 American defectors living in Russia. And when he went over there, one of the big, I should have written this down so I'd look smarter on the podcast. But the kingmaker, the guy behind Putin, one of the most powerful guys in Russia, meets him at the airport. It would be the equivalent of a Russian flying in, getting off the plane and having Elon Musk, greet him at the airport. So this guy, he did. The person who gave him the recording said, yeah, I gave him CDs of those. He essentially confirmed that he had them. So Trump has had a financial relationship with the Russians for a long time. When his casinos failed, they bought up a ton of apartments at Trump Towers. it goes all the way back to this Joy Ludd electronics shop that the KGB used to use in New York. He got into buying TVs there because it was cheaper. They were able to scout him there. This was like 1986. And if you look back, before the fall of the Berlin Wall, late 80s, early 90s, he's writing op-eds about ending NATO. And what does he want to do now? He wants to end NATO. That's what taking Greenland is about.
Oh, yeah.
Whether he thinks it's a good idea because he got sweet talked by Putin or because working for him.
I think it's more than, that's definitely part of it. It's definitely to pay off Putin without a doubt.
Yeah, that destroys NATO, and that gives the Russians what we want just when their army is being absolutely broken. They're literally sending guys on horseback against robots. The Ukrainians are killing them. If we supported the Ukrainians the way we should be, the war would be over in a week, and so would Russia.
That was on Biden. That was all on Biden.
Well, no, there's that's on Putin. No,
do you think that Biden pulled back? Is that what you're saying?
Did you see our article that's on there? Yeah. So we put this one on, even though it wasn't exactly financial corruption. I thought it was close enough. There was a proposal. This was from someone who was in the Trump administration in the first term from Putin to give up Venezuela in exchange for Ukraine.
Yep.
And considering how slow and clunky the Russian army is and that they've been in Crimea since 2014, clearly they were planning this in advance. That's not something we can go in quickly. The Russians really can't. They're clunky. They had to be planning that a long time in advance to get that, get their crappy Cold War armor lined up on the Ukrainian border. That's something you wanted to do for a long time. So, yeah. But anyway, but what I was getting back to, I'll finish, is where do we stop? Do we put in the Russia stuff? I try to just focus on if it involves money or a quid pro quo or a conflict of interest. We don't do Epstein except for the one article about the financials that are being hidden because we try to focus on finances.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, what do you think about the Russian ties to? What do you think about Russia? Do you think it's as he says?
You know what? My dad has a saying, and I've used it quite a bit, and that is this: never trust a Russian.
Well, he's not wrong.
I mean, yes.
I think so. Okay,
I think the entire world knows that. For a reason.
Just pin it a little bit. I mean, let's just go to the most recent, like
Russians have told me that.
Where this comes from. All right. So let's look at Epstein. Just for a little bit. One, Epstein, and I've said this, so it's not a big secret. Epstein did not kill himself, first of all.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Now, so from there you have to look at a few things. And you can look this up. So the head of so there's two things. One, when you look at who restarted the Hillary Clinton email investigation a week before the election in 2015, it was the head of counterintelligence for the FBI New York field office. Okay. Now, fast forward to 2022. I think it's 2022. It's either 2021 or 2022. This same guy, who was the head of the FBI field office for counterintelligence, is arrested and found out to be a high-level Russian spy.
Oh,
yeah. Surprise, surprise.
So now, why does Epstein come into this? All right. So I there's a few things I know. I think Epstein got arrested because, from what's been revealed in the House documents that they got from the Epstein estate, it was clear that Epstein was really pushing stuff out there about Donald Trump. And around the same time that the investigation restarted on him, he attached himself, or he somehow, I'm not sure how that relationship started yet, but somehow Bannon came into his orbit. Okay.
Of course. And
if you look at the messages that Epstein and Bannon were having, one, Epstein was going to bankroll his resurrection of, Newsmax. And then Epstein kept dropping things about Donald Trump to Bannon. Okay. So I think, totally speculation, there's no proof to this, but Epstein was clearly trying to use his blackmail material to get it into Trump's orbit that I have this shit on you. Remember?
Makes sense.
Why is this being investigated? So Trump, from the Roy Cohn school of never backing down and always doubling down whenever anybody hits you, basically Epstein winds up in jail. So now I will say this, and this happened during Trump's first administration. I do not believe that anybody in the U.S. government was involved in, I should say, any normal person in the U.S. government. Like CIA was not involved, FBI was not involved, military was not involved in anything what happened to Epstein in his death. Nobody in the U.S. government was involved. But here's who I think I'm pretty sure in speculation of who would have had Epstein's blackmail files: Mossad and Russia. And then I go back to who was close to Donald Trump at that time, and it was Rudy Giuliani. Now, when Rudy Giuliani was mayor of New York, he was very successful in one thing, and that was arresting and breaking the back of the Italian mafia. But what did he not do as mayor of New York? Anything with the Russian mafia. So you have a confluence of a few things. You have a high-level Russian asset in the FBI in counterintelligence. You have the Russian mafia controlling New York, and you have Russia. I don't think Mossad or Israel did anything with Epstein. I think if anything, he was a source for them. But Russia for sure would want to protect their asset, and their highest ranked asset would be, I mean, Trump has basically done everything Putin wants at this point.
Everything.
So they would want to protect that. So
you hear that a lot about it. If this is literally like the Russian playbook of favorites to take
and they
down
both
our country.
recruited girls from Russia and the Eastern Europe, and they had connections that, of course, when you're doing that, you're working with mafia and Russian mafia.
I mean, just to leap off of that a little bit, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't his first term, Trump's first term, didn't he have there was 22 indictments of campaign finance payments, and Paul Manafort was the number one. He was like the head of his campaign manager, and I think 11 of them went away, and then of course Manafort gets pardoned. I think they all got pardoned.
They all got.
I'm not totally sure about that though. They all got pardoned.
Roger Stone, Bannon, and Manafort, they all got pardons.
Bannon got pardons for something else though, right? But yeah. He got pardoned for that. What was he doing? He was asking for donations. He spent it on a yacht or something.
Rebuild the wall. He started.
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
Money for to build the wall. Like Patriots will fund the wall, and he just pocketed it.
I mean, that's a whole nother thing. I'm talking about corruption. I mean, the FBI director was sending out emails help fund me to take on corruption in USA, and it's his personal account you're giving to. Unbelievable.
If you've seen any of their fundraising emails, it's like being
he's still sending them out now.
And it's like being in a toxic relationship. Jay, I've heard that you
I
don't
need your
love
help.
me. I've heard that you don't love me anymore. I need you to rush $50 with 100 times match immediately to prove that you still love me. It is bizarre. It's like it is like getting an email from the world's clingiest, most toxic girlfriend.
Yeah, it's targeting elders, and it's just horrible.
And then they've started it up again where the recurring donation is auto checked.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can we do that, Hans, with the corruption tracker?
Well, I gotta be on. I hope so. Well, I got on some Democratic fundraising list, and I get 10 texts a day, and they're annoying as hell to the point where it makes me not want to vote for them. Then, for some reason, I think just because I'm a middle-aged white guy, the Republicans send me the occasional fundraising letter, which I just throw out anyway. But could we do that? Yeah, we could. But if we did that, we would actually use the money to add our voting feature, maybe a searchability, maybe upgrade from just categories to search terms. We need
to change our business model to target boomers.
Yeah. Well.
Like we got to rethink this now.
And I'm still a registered Republican, so I get all the stuff, and I do mean.
So does that come from like a family background of voting Republican? That's usually what it is typically.
It was a little bit of family, but it was also my own personal beliefs for most of it. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it. You asked what happened, or if I got more liberal as I got older, but realistically, the party has moved so far right that my positions are really like center to center left at this point, which is insane to me, because
you and Bill Maher.
Yeah, I mean, someone said someone said the other day, like I'm just an old, like I am an absolute conservative, and I'm a conservative through and through, or something like that. And then, I was thinking about that later after they said that, and I'm just, because I was thinking about it, and I'm just like, what does that even mean anymore? Like,
yeah, I heard a pretty good definition once. This guy said to me, definition of conservatism is not changing faster than the bulk of the population can handle.
And see, I agree with incremental change, but like conservative from a political standpoint, I don't even know what that means anymore.
I don't think anybody does. People that are in the same boat as you guys, that were traditional Republicans that believed in, that Reagan, Bush, those years, and now they're just disgusted with Trump.
And that's the thing. Conservatives. Let's look at immigration, all right, and illegal immigration. The conservative standpoint for most of my childhood, and when I was anti-immigration laws, anti-immigration enforcement, mainly because it was we should have immigration, but to be honest, it's because we need the labor in this country.
Yeah.
and that was the conservative standpoint,
right?
And now look at it.
We need the slaves in the country.
Well, hey, now just
yeah, we already talked about this before, but that drives me bananas. Yeah,
but honestly, the conservative standpoint in the 80s and 90s was punish the business, don't punish the immigrant.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. If you don't want them hiring illegals, go after the business. And
which it is illegal to hire somebody not from this.
It is
illegal, and they were never talked about at all.
Yeah, Jay, you can tell me, was it Bush 1 or Reagan? They wanted to make a pathway to citizenship for people who were here illegally, where basically you were going to pay, right? You're going to kind of, I think there was going to be a fee to process and to pay for having been here illegally, and that makes sense. You suck a little more money out of them. They're working. Honestly, if they're not breaking the law and they're supporting themselves, who cares, right? But, I mean, I get, okay, in some communities, you've had large influxes of people. You want people who are going to assimilate. So, I can see, like, I've lived in a lot of immigrant-heavy communities, and without saying who or what, there are certain groups of immigrants where I'm like, oh, good, there's a lot of them here. The school system's getting better. And others where I'm like, I gotta move. But if they're not breaking the law, you can't just go and shoot through their car window and drag them out and put them on a plane to Rwanda because their country, they're not breaking the law. Let them pay their way in. Let them.
That drives me bananas. So, like, can I ask you guys one thing quick? Like, so on that note, the idea of like taking all the bad immigrants, the ones that are felons, the ones that break our laws, that are dangerous criminals, and deporting them. Does that make any sense whatsoever? So somebody commits a felony, right? They hurt someone or they do something horrible, right? So then you let them go?
Well, you'd have to.
How does that make sense?
Otherwise, they're just going to come back. If the worst penalty is, return to the starting line and come on back in, it's like playing.
It's like I just robbed a bank. Now I got a free ride to Mexico. Thanks.
Right. You got to put them in jail if they break the law, just like an American citizen. The difference would be, okay, if we let you out, then we're going to deport you.
I mean, I don't even want to discuss it because it's like their talking points. Like,
no.
Legitimizing any of their talking points is such bullshit.
Right. And the idea that you can have armed paramilitaries who, I mean, I look at these ICE guys, they look like guys who weren't good enough to make it as cops or to be soldiers, the wannabes, the guys that, just basically couldn't make it through those exams, weren't really man enough. And now they're being given free reign to terrorize citizens. I mean,
just a little segue quickly. Do you know what the 5th largest military in the world is right now?
What?
5th largest. ICE.
Yeah, and that's Trump's personal military, because the military actually has honor and won't just do his bidding, no matter how.
Well, apparently they are. They are doing his bidding.
Well,
but that's
ICE. ICE is not real. I mean, ICE is not legit military. They're just a bunch of scumbag incels who get a uniform.
But they get 180 billion, is it?
But they do have a paramilitary arm that answers only to the president and is not subject to anything else, and that's BORTAC.
Which is completely.
Oh, really? I never heard of that.
Wait, what is it called? Tell us about that. BORTAC.
I never heard of this.
Border Tactical. They have a special forces military unit called Border Tactical, and you can look this up. That is the unit they sent into Portland during the George Floyd protests. They're not subject to anything, and they can operate within, I think, 100 miles of any U.S. international port of departure or customs station.
Okay.
That is their only.
So that's who they're buying the F-22s for? That's why they need 170 billion? Yeah. Is that who's going to get the aircraft carrier?
I think, it's ICE's. I'm a constitutionalist. All right. So I fall back on what they're doing is insanely unconstitutional.
Yeah.
I mean, are we all supposed to be constitutionalists?
You would
think.
The whole
point of the thing? Yeah.
You would think, but we tend to pick and choose which amendments we want to.
Yeah, we do now.
Yeah, I mean, because in one of my other non-paying jobs is historian, but I actually do have a doctorate in it. And James Madison, 2 things he said that really stick with you. Well, 3, I guess. But so first off, he said it was meant to be a weak executive. The president was not meant to be a strong executive after their experience with the king. The Congress was supposed to be the main branch. He also said the Constitution was written in simple language so you could understand it, and lawyers couldn't torture the hell out of it the way conservative lawyers do to come up with these constructions. And he also turned against the Electoral College. He said it was basically a compromise to get the South on board to protect their slaves, which it did actually. It accomplished that. I mean, when Jefferson won, he won with the votes that represented slaves who probably wouldn't have voted for him. Mm-hmm. But, these stupid, right-wing intellectual, quote unquote, MAGA interpretations of the Constitution and the unitary executive. You just read James Madison. I wrote the damn thing. Weak executive, simple, plain language. You interpret it as it's written. That's basically it. Now, it's true. It was written with a feather hundreds of years ago. It probably needs some updating because the world has changed, but they're clearly misinterpreting it. But that's the thing. There's no one to enforce this because Congress basically has no balls right now. And because it's so gerrymandered that the Republicans are essentially a ruling party. What do you think, Jay, though? Have you looked at Election Truth Alliance? And this is another thing we don't cover because it's not financial. But, they don't do a great job of giving you that 30-second explanation. They're really cerebral and intellectual. But when you actually parse through all their statistics and all their analysis, and then you look at the videos of Trump saying, oh, Elon knows those voting machines, and Elon Musk saying, hey, if it weren't for me, we would have lost the presidency and the House, and it would be 51-49 in the Senate. Or him with his little mini-me kid, oh, we have a big secret and they'll never know. It looks like they probably did do some vote flipping.
I was actually going to ask if you believe that because I've heard that, and
I think so. When you
I don't know if we want to get into this right now.
But, I don't know.
But it's not something to get into, but it would be a good one. You could have them on, but tell them, look, before you go into the 30 minutes of background, just give us the 2-minute version for all the dumbasses who can only pay attention for 2 minutes. Because
it's going to.
That's why they're not.
I mean, it's just not going to.
I think part of why Elon did something. What I don't know, but he clearly thinks he did. The only problem I have with Elon actually doing that is I, in general, think Elon is incompetent.
He hires competent people and then
He
pretends
hires competent people, but him in general.
Yeah, every time somebody calls him a genius, just
So I could absolutely see him. I could absolutely see Elon thinking he stole the election for Trump, but him not actually doing it. He takes a lot of credit for shit that he didn't do.
I mean, there's only so much somebody can do from a technology level to really influence voting. I mean, they're all air gapped machines. They're not connected to anything.
The tabulators.
They're literally tabulators. They just count.
Yeah,
just count.
You can hack the tabulators. Hacking the individual machines isn't going to do it, but you can hack the tabulators. Which is
the theory on that.
I mean, how would you hack the tabulator? You have to like get to the like foundational level of those machines.
I've seen people demonstrate it. There are elections. There's a whole election truth movement out there. They can do it in minutes. Like it's not that hard.
I find that very hard to believe.
Look it up, but I mean, we're getting off topic. But look it up because there are guys.
Well, I will say to Gabe.
You seen a video called 2,000 Mules?
The basis of that theory on that is that there was a software update in a lot of the precincts where they had a bomb threat or a fire alarm. There was a software update that kicked on the Wi-Fi. See, a lot of those voting machines had a Wi-Fi radio, but it wasn't turned on. And the theory goes that there was a software update in those precincts where there was like a bomb threat called in, and they had to delay things or clear the station.
I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to have any kind of network card or networking on the machines, but
I'm just
well, I don't bomb threats in swing precincts are also suspicious. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, there's other ways to influence people, and then they're doing that for sure.
Exit polling doesn't work, so there's that. Everywhere else, the exit polls give you an accurate representation of how the final vote count comes out. Here, not only have they come out skewed in a few elections, the Bush elections as well, but in the Trump elections. But they come out wrong in the same way. If the polling were just off, you'd expect it to be wrong for the one side in this place and wrong for the other side in this place. But it's always a pretty strict mathematical formula, and it's always one way, and that just points to there being something going on.
Going along with that though, I'm not an election truther. I think it is so far gone that even if Elon did something, I just don't think it matters. We're
not going to undo it. Yeah.
Correct. But
I mean, yeah,
I'm going to ask Hans, you're the researcher, and I've tried to find this comment. Sometime in 2015, 2016, maybe even like 2014 or slightly earlier, Bannon gave an interview. And in this interview, he said it is absolutely easy to steal a U.S. election. All you have to do is flip less than 2% of the vote in key counties in swing states, and it will never trigger a recount.
Yeah, I have heard that. I don't remember the exact.
I don't, but I heard it when he said it.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, that's a big problem with the Electoral College system. You don't have to rig the entire country. If it went by vote count, it would be almost impossible. But in swing states and in swing counties, if you can just change it, those states that are going to come out, 49.7 to 50.2, and then 0.1 goes to the loopy candidate or whatever, you only need to flip those a little bit. And you don't need to do it. You ignore Massachusetts, it's always going to be blue. You ignore, Alabama, that's going to be red. But if you do that in a few swing states, you can influence it. Pennsylvania, it's always going to be close. If you can flip it this much, you're going to win.
Yeah, but I mean, we've all heard these stories.
Pennsylvania is where all the bomb threats were coming in at the precincts.
And you've heard these stories. I mean, even like the whole thing about Arizona, if Trump didn't push anti-vaxxing so much, these people wouldn't have died and they would have voted for him, and he would have won that. I mean, it's like never ending.
It is. It really is. And it's almost,
well, I agree that Trump supporters should not get vaccinated. How's that?
Well, yeah, with RFK in power.
Let's push the site a little more. What are you going to do with this? If people go to buy me a coffee or Patreon and pump in some cash, what are you going to do with that amazing tech brain of yours to make it so much more fun for them?
Well, I'm going to make sure it has the right amount of corruptions. Apparently 200 is capped somehow. I figure out what's going on there. That's for sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
we'd
you
love
fix
to. We just got to keep going. I mean, this is definitely a labor of love. We're gonna start a couple of social media channels. So look for us on TikTok and Instagram and Blue Sky.
Blue Sky,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to hang out with those liberals, our people.
Yeah, is Jay allowed on Blue Sky, or how does that work?
I don't know. Did you like
Republicans?
I'm already on Blue Sky.
I mean, I have a Truth account.
Oh, we gotta be on there. We gotta be on Truth Social.
Dude, we've got on Truth. We should get on Truth.
We
See how
have
long
to
we can
do that,
last. Yeah. Here are 200 truths for you, Trump.
Yeah, I'm already on Blue Sky.
Ah, okay. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, we're just keep pushing forward and see where it goes. I mean, right now I really wanted a tool that I could use out in the bar when I'm talking to people, trying to change minds.
That's absolutely awesome, by the way.
Thanks. I mean, for me, I wish I had more MAGA friends, and I don't. I have a couple of closeted ones that will like show their MAGA-ness once in a while. Like I have a friend of mine who, I was talking about Venezuela, and he's like, Trump just secured $17 trillion in oil for us. Like one of those lines. Or the other day, he sent me kind of a detailed post about how Greenland is strategically important for the U.S. And like, dude, we're already there. Like, nothing.
Do whatever you want there. It's ours.
Yeah, we can do anything we want. We have total control right now.
Yeah,
we had that
since
the 80s. Like, it's ridiculous.
We pulled them out because we didn't need them. The Danes would love to have them back because they make money off of it. It's like
we used to have something 17. Like 14 military bases in Greenland. Like.
Yeah, we have NATO, like the entire area. Like China and Russia aren't going to take it. They would have taken it already. It's not going to happen.
The Russian Navy, too. It's not
Russian Navy is actually getting like a third of their Black Sea fleet has been sunk by a country that doesn't even have a navy. The Russian Navy is not a threat. The Chinese Navy is a threat to Taiwan, not Greenland. Different island.
Yeah, there's only one country in the entire world that can effectively invade somebody. Guess who it is? Yeah. That's it. Only one. Only one that has the operational capability.
Yeah, well, it was that or healthcare, and I stand by the invading people.
Yeah, 180 billion to ICE, and what is it, 1.5 trillion for the military now?
Yeah, 1.5 trillion. That's the budget they want to do.
Oh, the Department of War is going to have a party with that.
That one I was shockingly not as upset about because it really did used to be the Department of War. I mean, it was the War Department. So.
It was.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Originally.
Yeah, it was.
Department of War.
That was one of those things that was just stupid, but I'm just like, yeah, you know what? You do you. I mean, that's really what it was. But yeah, I mean, it's you can go from ICE, you can go all the corruption, all the things. I don't know how we get through this mess.
So what do you think Trump's going to do with the midterms? He's got to fix it somehow.
He might
National Guard, war. What do you think? Civil War.
The problem, though, is, I mean, even if the Democrats get the House, getting 2/3 of the Senate to do an impeachment would be impossible. The Senate's another thing that needs to be reformed in the Constitution. It doesn't make sense anymore. You got these little states like Wyoming, 400,000 people, the same 2 senators as 50 million in California, even though California is way more productive and useful. And so you have a minority. Really, you look at the Republican majority in the House and in the Senate, they represent a minority of the American population. So we have straight up minority rule. And then the blue states pay more in tax money than we get back, i.e. we subsidize the red states, i.e. we have a minority that rules the country and then sucks money out of the majority. So we're not going to fix that.
What I'm about to say could dangerously send Hans off into a lecture, but wasn't the Senate formed so that the rich landowners had a voice?
Yeah, it was supposed to be the most aristocratic part, basically, because originally you didn't vote for the senators; the state governments appointed them. So it was like whoever the elites in the state are get to send 2 of their own down, and it gives the states more power. And then by having electoral college voters representing the senators, that gives more power to the smaller states, i.e. the South, and they can protect slavery, and there you go. But what is he going to do? Yeah, I mean, I think he'll try to do something, and that's scary. I think he'll try to stop. I think there'll be ICE guys out at the elections. I think at polling stations.
Yeah.
I think if you're brown at all and you're in line, they're going to drag you into a corner and say you're not voting, even if you've got your ID with you. I think he'll try to do anything he can to not allow the House to sit if they win. If he has a Democratic majority coming in, he'll try to stop that any way he can. And yeah, I mean, that's a scary thing. You know, I was talking to an ex-military intelligence guy that I know, and we were both agreeing, you know, I never thought I'd say this, but I'd actually like to see the military overthrow the president and just kind of do a caretaker thing until the Constitution comes.
To segue quickly into like what's happening in Minneapolis right now with
that's
calling in the National Guard. I mean,
that's a test run. Yeah.
Isn't that literally the definition of civil war?
Oh, is Minneapolis calling in their National Guard?
Oh yeah, have you heard this?
Oh yeah,
he's getting them ready to come off against ICE, like physically.
Good. Yes. You know what? I'll gain a lot of respect for Walz if he does that, and I'll be refreshed if they actually, you know, stand against them. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, because that's what Trump wants to do. He wants to use ICE to keep people from voting, and to punish the blue states, which actually subsidize the red states. Sorry, you lazy.
I mean, isn't that the definition of civil war if you call a local militia against the overarching government or government body?
Yeah. Yeah, civil war, rebellion, whatever, but that's better than allowing the tyrant to just take over the country.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I mean, that's where we're going, like literally.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. If the National Guard gets called up, or there's any type of even minuscule amount of pushback on ICE, then they will invoke the Insurrection Act, and it will stick this time. The courts will not strike it down.
It is amazing that I'm sure there's reasons why, which I don't understand. Maybe you guys know, but like, why the police departments are so handicapped in dealing with ICE. It's crazy.
Because the police, well,
I mean, the jurisdiction. I mean, they have jurisdiction. I mean, the federal.
They have jurisdiction, but I think it's a stretch to expect police officers to arrest federal agents.
Masked federal agents with no badge numbers. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is.
But I mean, the police, those guys are. I mean, let's face it. A lot of ICE are former police. They're former law enforcement officers.
Former January Sixers.
Former J6ers. Former Boogaloo Boys. Former Proud Boys. Former or current. But at the end of the day,
I mean, it's not a bad gig. I mean, I was looking at some good benefits, a $50K sign-on bonus. I mean, God, maybe we should do that. I mean,
some of them have said on camera they have like a $200,000 a year salary.
My Lord,
that's ridiculous.
I mean, that's I'm very mixed on the response to what's going on in Minneapolis and ICE in general. It's unconstitutional. Our institutions have failed us on reining them in. At the same time, I also kind of expected all this to happen.
So did they.
In 2021.
Oh, really?
I think when the Biden administration failed to hire someone that was actually going to reform Homeland Security and Border Patrol, that this was absolutely the end result.
Yeah, because ICE has been around for a long time, hasn't it? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, ICE has been around since 9/11. I mean, after 9/11, they were created with the Patriot Act. So you have a group of people that have been performing egregious abuses against people with zero oversight for a very long time. It was kind of expected that unless you reformed it when you had the chance, that this would be the end result when someone else got into power. That's kind of like I said about Bortak. they have very few restrictions on their authority.
Hey, it sounds like a fun job.
Right. So I guess $50K, huh? And it doesn't look like you have to be in great shape. A lot of those guys.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dude that what was his name that shot the poor woman? He was definitely overweight.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Ross. Yeah, he. Oh yeah, she was coming right at me, which is why I shot through the driver's side window. Yeah, sure, dude.
Yeah,
that one. There's a lot of mistakes there. Did I think? Yeah, I mean, I was on the board of maybe. I mean, in a certain respect, it was a PTSD reaction, so to speak.
It's not a defense to kill someone. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but I know real cops who've been in dangerous situations who are still able to not shoot a civilian that's not actually.
I've had my life threatened with a weapon at least 3 times, and I did not go plow, bow, bam, bam, bam. So,
I'm friends with a guy who got in the fight with all the Hell's Angels in Lynn. He doesn't go around shooting down bikers. He makes a mean chili. He's a good guy. But I know cops who've been in dangerous situations, who've been hurt. They don't go and just shoot the next civilian that triggers them. I mean,
correct. But I'm just saying, I could have seen that justification for it. Maybe I still don't think it's right. But I think the video where he calls her a fucking bitch after shooting her in the face.
Yeah. It's disgusting. Yeah.
I mean, they're not trained. Obviously, a police officer's not supposed to discharge his weapon at a moving car. Right. Period. And
they're not trained.
Out of the way. And if you they're not trained. Tire,
yeah.
And then the car doesn't go very far. If
they're not trained,
if you're an actual criminal, you needed to stop. Boom, the tire pops. Okay.
They're not even supposed to do that. So
right, you're not even supposed to do that. Yeah. But if you again, it's better than shooting someone in the face.
Well, that goes back to the point. They're not trained. They are, I mean, if this guy like 3 months ago or 4 months ago was dragged 80 feet by a car and had to have 88 stitches.
Which is like that. Did anybody look into the story? Is that real?
That's what they say. I mean, there's video. There's actual, I mean, it might be. There's video of it happening.
Yeah, his arm was cut a little bit. And so he should have been relieved of duty. Put him on unpaid.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who cleared him? Who cleared him to go back in the field?
Yeah.
But it did actually happen, though. Yeah.
So that's where I get PTSD response. But there again, that's not necessarily on. I mean, that's still doesn't mean she was a domestic terrorist. It just means who put him back out in the field. Well, if he was going to be a danger to someone, he never should have been out in the field again to begin with.
Yeah, and when he was dragged, it was because he was reaching in aggressively to someone who was trying to get away and not letting go, and they took off. It's not like a movie villain grabbed him and chained his arm to the car and said, "Woo, I'm going to drag you now." It was he was trying to grab the guy, and the guy was trying to get away, and so he got caught in the window and he got dragged a bit.
Yeah, so again, and ultimately, I lay the blame on the people that sent him in there.
Right. Well, yeah,
and are doing and are performing this like this. I mean, I'm old enough to remember what was the movie with Cheech Marine? Another Shrimp on the Barbie or something like that. It was where he goes to Australia. And there was another one he did called Born in East LA. They have Amigra raids in those movies, and it's just they run away from them. There's not like a armed military going door to door in a neighborhood that just happens to be heavily, immigrant. There was a way we did this in the past that didn't require, a militarization of the response.
And the whole thing, let's just call it as it is. It's all bullshit. It's all Trump's power grab.
It is purely done on purpose to inspire fear, to punish,
probably to line up enemies. With the elections, exactly.
And I think I read that if you
distract from Epstein, because that was all the news, and it's really clear. Like if you're a MAGA person and you support everything he's doing, but you honestly don't believe he was raping children with Jeffrey Epstein, you are remarkably fucking stupid. It is so clear how guilty he is. You can love everything he does. And there's a few things he does I agree with here and there. Broken clock can be right twice a week. Not enough to want him in office. I want him out. But you have to say, I love this guy and I support him so much, I'm okay with him raping children, because he did.
I mean, I've heard people say this about Trump's done a couple of good things. What has he done? Like anything?
If you
can
really
you name anything?
That's credit card rates. I'm trying to think. I mean,
no, the credit card rate thing is complete crap.
Supporting Israel's good. Maybe they have something on him too. I don't know. That's fine.
I mean, Mossad for sure has the Epstein files, so yes, they do.
Yeah, literally the Epstein files. That's what they have.
They probably got rid of Robert Maxwell because he was a triple agent and he was betraying them. So, and Maxwell's the guy who got Epstein started. But yeah, who knows?
I mean, hopefully they stop gender swapping people in Marvel movies. That'd be nice.
Yeah, the gender swapping thing, like some of the extreme. Like, I'm all for trans people having rights, but I don't need to hear about it in every single Netflix show. So that, all right, some of the
definitely tone that down quite a bit.
Okay, so here's the thing. It is mind-boggling to me how much the Democrats have just mangled the response to that issue. I mean, all you hear about is trans and women's sports, trans and women's sports, trans and women's sports. And nobody on the left or center has just done the most basic fucking pushback on it. And that is this. I'm going to ask the two of you a question, and I would appreciate an honest response. Okay. Would either of you have yourself surgically castrated in order to win? Hold on. In order to win a sporting event?
No.
Right.
No, and I don't want.
But I will add to this. Sorry, I will add to this that they usually don't get castrated.
Well, but by just by asking that question and setting the bar, you have now set the standard. If you want to compete in women's sports, this is what has to happen. At that point,
okay.
Right? At that point, you're committed.
Yeah, good point. You got to cut your dick off in order to do this.
Yeah, you are being your authentic self. That is it. You're not doing it just to win a swimming meet.
Like, if gender,
you know what? That's a very good argument. I'll remember that one.
So
That's pretty good.
Anybody, be a woman when you're competing, or be a man when you're competing, and be a woman when you go out to the clubs, because gender's fluid, right? And I mean, athletes have to do stuff with their hormones anyway. So, but you got to compete. Like, competition should be by biological sex. Okay, let's say there's 18 genders or whatever. Fine, I don't know if I buy it, but you compete with your biological sex. End of story. But the fact that they pushed it that far, like, people were saying, yeah, gay rights, great, give them more rights. Okay, trans people need rights, give them their rights. But they had to push it to, and by the way, they can play sports against girls. Like, wait, what? No. That insanity, as opposed to saying, okay, it's a very small part of the population, let's move on to the economy, we're better at that. That would have been good. That would have been a better.
They try, like, Kamala tried
like
that.
My
it didn't go anywhere. No, your answer is definitely better.
Kamala's well, your answer is great, because everyone's going to say no right away, but
because it takes every man in the room and makes like, yeah, you're right.
They always have language to dance around that.
Though, what do you say to the one guy who says yes, I will? You just snip him.
I think you just say, well,
he must really want to compete.
Did you see the guy in Canada, the weightlifting coach for the Canadian women's powerlifting team? There was this trans guy who went and just beat all their records, set all the women's records.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
All the girls. So the coach for the women's team just goes in, registers as a female, just takes the other guy's record, puts it up, laughs about it, puts like 100 more pounds on, throws it up. He's like, I've got the women's record now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, the whole thing's pretty ridiculous, to say the least.
All right, but what are we talking with trans people? All right, so what are we doing? We've been on here like an hour and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15. We can just, I appreciate you guys being on, and this is a live stream, so it'll go up on my channel, and I'll take some clips from it and also post them as regular videos. You guys can also post them on your video on your channels as well.
Cool, man. So what are you gonna do with the? What's your vision for your channel going forward?
I've been doing news. I want to do more interviews. I'm going to be doing an interview with a friend, person I know that is a CTO for an AI company.
Oh, cool.
I've done some politics, obviously a lot of politics, and it's a lot of Trump. But I do see that there's not really much of a voice for center, more of centrist politics. So I've on my channel I've called out Tim Walz on his response to the corruption thing, only because I know that there was a way to spike it and they didn't, so it was an awful response to Nick Shirley's video.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
But it is focusing on Trump and the Trump administration, because I mean he's mostly the reason why I feel the Republican Party has gone, like our politics in general have gone so far right that reasonable people can't even. Do you remember when we used to disagree about pick something really stupid? I mean,
well, on that note, like I used to love that show House of Cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine watching that now? I actually tried turning it on the other day, and I'm like, this is the most you can't take any of it seriously.
West Wing is totally like incomprehensible.
You're like, this is the worst. Like, they're like, oh, everybody's so upset by the education bill. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, that's gonna, like, everybody's up in arms about it, and they're like, somebody's like stealing the half-eaten, documents out of the shredder so they can send it off to somebody, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
And honestly, I'm also as part of my channel is I try to, while obviously I have to do things that are clickbait focused. I try to do some videos that are just general informational, like private equity firms, how and this is actually germane to the topic, because a lot of our politicians, even the social Democrats and liberal like Bernie, AOC, they don't even talk about it. They don't even want to touch it, of the fact that probably 80% of the market segments in our economy are at a cartel or anti-competitive status. There's only two major firms that control that entire market.
Yeah, consolidation ownership is the biggest problem in this country. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Every level.
And there's no
hospitals, medical, you name it. It's across the board. Food.
Yeah, I mean that was really what killed the Roman Republic, was that the farmers ended up losing their land to giant landowners who then had slaves to work it, and so you had this shell of a republic that was really this little oligarchy of very rich people that were kind of Trumpian in some cases, and it's the same thing now. It's just corporate instead of big farmers.
If you want to, I'm from the industrial Midwest, and if you kind of want to get an idea of how the Democrats, I mean, I live in an area that was never very highly Democrat, but it was, or Democratic, but it was adjacent to one, and it was always very competitive races. But I think when you look at what happened with Trump, is he spoke to the idea, to the industrial Midwest, of a revitalization, but they never really did it. And no politician really actually speaks to it, because if you just look at the industry that I'm in, there used to be probably 48 to 50 major companies that were involved in the industry. Okay. And each one of those companies had support staff, they had sales staff, they had order entry, they had warehouse, that were all good paying jobs. And due to consolidation and just a lack of enforcement on monopolistic or anti-competitive practices, that 50 to 60 is now down to like 10.
Right? I mean, does like Clinton's years of globalization and moving a lot of manufacturing, does that hurt that area too?
I think it's a lot of little things that Hans, you're a historian, you could probably fact check me here, but it's a lot of little decisions to fix other problems, but then we never addressed the problems created by those solutions. Like, I think the biggest thing probably the single biggest event that has us where we're at today was the repeal of Glass-Steagall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Solved the savings and loan crisis, but it set up a moral hazard in our finance sector that we have not recovered from. Nor will
Didn't
we.
Biden try to put that back? Am I imagining this? Didn't somebody try to
You're
put it back?
imagining that.
Or Obama, maybe?
Okay, so
Dodd-Frank?
So yes, during the Great Recession, Obama pushed Dodd-Frank, but there was a big group of Republicans and Democrats that just wanted to reinstitute Glass-Steagall.
Oh, okay.
And obviously Dodd-Frank won.
And there's a big difference between two of them? I thought they're the same thing.
Dodd-Frank just put in stricter accounting standards.
Right.
And also that banks had to, it increased the reserve currency that banks had to keep on hand to prevent any type of shortfall. But what it didn't do is it didn't silo the banks.
Right. Yeah. With Glass-Steagall, commercial banking and personal and investment banking were separate. You could be giving loans to people. You could be investing and working with corporations. You couldn't do both. So you couldn't sell mortgages as an investment package. You couldn't sell them as a security. And now, of course, once that started, that's what really brought on that 2008 crash, along with some other factors.
I thought the real devil, like for instance, all these equity firms investing in all the housing, was the low interest rates that they had for years, where the money was so
that
cheap.
Gets
they just went
Glass-Steagall. So then you're absolutely right. So Glass-Steagall sets up everything that comes after.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, all right.
We haven't enforced our antitrust laws in 40 years.
Right.
That's part of it.
Well, that's another thing. On Trump Corruption Tracker, eliminating oversight. That's a great tag. He's basically gotten rid of anyone who polices, anyone in the government, any of his activities, Elon, any
consumer protections. Yep.
Yeah. Anything in crypto and basically anything. The SEC is gutted. All of those watchdogs are either eliminated. I think there's branches of the FCC that are down to like 5 or 6 people who basically sit in their office doing nothing.
And so much for state rights. I mean, they're not allowed to regulate AI on their own.
Right. Well, so you go from Glass-Steagall, you go from the fact that we haven't enforced our antitrust laws in 40 years. Then you get into the Great Recession, essentially. And when the Fed put the interest rate at 0, that supercharged a lot of companies that, it basically created the tech industry, right? Because those companies were not profitable. The only reason all these tech companies got investment is because there was no risk. That was the moral hazard. So now we have supercharged monopolistic tech companies that nobody is even willing to enforce. And we've removed, and then Citizens United removed all the guardrails on political contributions.
Well, we definitely have a corruption for the recent purchasing of TikTok and how that ended up.
Yeah, that's the algorithms are another thing. You could test this out yourself. Go on Instagram and watch a few right-wing reels and like them, and then see how far down the rabbit hole you get.
I try on YouTube, and it's like it keeps pulling me back to boring progressive stuff.
YouTube is a little more robust. You have to subscribe. It tracks how long you watch a video. It tracks if you.
I've subscribed to Benny Johnson, Glenn Beck. I got all of them.
Yeah, but how long do you watch it?
Oh, not long. I can only take so much.
That's why. But Instagram
Carlson is the one I really can't handle.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Yeah. Instagram will just go by off you watch the reel and if you like it.
Okay, there you go.
And if you do those two things, it's just going to keep pushing you down the rabbit hole. So, like, Gabe, for you, if you like, let's say you're watching like a exercise, like a weightlifting video, and it happens.
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? I don't know. Face crusher. But let's say you do that, you watch a fitness video or like a weightlifting video, and the guy happens to sideline as like a right-wing influencer or kind of right-wing adjacent, and you like and subscribe to that, or you like it, or you interact with that reel, you're going to get a few others. It's going to heat check you, and then if you start liking those, it's just going to keep your feed.
Well, my phone's sitting next to me right now, recording all of this. I'm sure I'm going to have my Instagram feed be completely reworked after this live stream.
Yeah, but it is crazy to see it happen. It is absolutely amazing.
But man, YouTube has gotten, for me, I can only watch so much David Pakman after a while. I just want to stick a spoon in my eye.
I actually
he's hard to watch. He has like just get to the video you claim you're going to show or the details.
Yeah, well, all right. So Pakman was funded by the DNC.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. He got found out on that. Very similar to the. It's not true.
What an amateur! Everybody else is getting Russian money.
That's what I was going to say. Very similar. Brian Tyler Cohen seems to be the one that doesn't get any kind of funding from outside sources.
Who's the kid that does Secular Talk? He's actually he talks about that all the time.
Secular Talk. I'm not sure who that is. I've been watching a lot of Dean Withers and Parker Get a Job.
Parker Get a Job is pretty good. How does that guy do what he does? How can he put up with these people all the time? It's unbelievable.
So
I have no idea.
I think I may have to dip out soon and help.
Yeah, sure.
To bed.
We can close it out here.
Well, yeah. Gabe, why don't you plug Face Crusher?
Thefacecrusher.com. It's a movie coming out soon.
Yeah, Face Crusher. Show him who you are in the. This is the
I've
star.
Seen it. I know Luke.
You always wanted to see Freddy Krueger's real face. Freddy Krueger's got nothing on Face Crusher, right?
Yeah, yes. Face Crusher, scary as hell.
It is.
The next iconic Face Crusher.
Should I share the poster?
Iconic movie monster.
Should I share the poster?
Yeah, I want to see the poster.
See if I can pull this off without this funky software that you have here. Let's see here. I might have to share my screen. That's probably a bad idea. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Okay. All right, I'll make this quick. Sorry. So unprofessional.
All right, while you're doing that, I have a very unpopular podcast I very rarely post to anymore called Real History with Dr. Hans. It's kind of funny. Okay. And give us some donate for the tracker. I also have this book, Freemasonry in the Revolutionary Atlantic World. If you're into the 18th century and really obscure stuff and you want to know what the Freemasons had to do with the Boston Tea Party, go ahead, get it on Amazon. Get my self-published version, not the publisher I had to sue to get the rights back. That will charge you 4 times as much or 7 times as much or something. All right, Gabe, get the Face Crusher up there. It's amazing. Look at him.
Oh, look
so
at that.
Face Crusher Legends is the new one that's coming out. This is the 3rd film. They're not a series. They're all unrelated to each other, but they're all awesome.
Could Face Crusher take on ice? Could he go to Minneapolis and finish this?
Yes, he would crush a lot of faces.
He would crush a lot of faces.
But he might crush a lot of progressive faces too, which is the problem.
He's indiscriminate in his face crushing.
In fact, just a little fun fact that these are actually Salem tourists, like hence the witch hat here. So he does actually crush some pretty progressive people.
Yeah, well.
So that is coming out on February 5th. We have a screening party. And if you happen to be in Salem, Massachusetts, thefacecrusher.com is the website that will have all the information on it.
Excellent.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Great to meet you virtually. I gotta. My wife's gonna probably want me to help get the kids in bed.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
So
I don't do that kid thing anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Later, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Jay, thanks for having us on. It was awesome.
Gabe, thank you. It was a great time. And everybody, thanks for watching. And if you are watching this later on the channel, please hit like and subscribe. Please leave a comment, and we'll be happy to respond.
Take it easy.